Hey, this is Mr. Janes. In this video, we'll be talking about slope, parallel, and perpendicular lines on a coordinate grid. But before we can get to the parallel and perpendicular lines, we need to first review slope and slope-intercept form. A lot of this video will involve you pausing the video, trying a problem on your own, and unpausing it to check if you got it right or review if you got it incorrect. So let's start with number 1. How do we find slope? I'd like you to pause the video now and find the slope of this line. You may either use the graph or you could use the coordinates of these 2 points. Pause the video. The answers will be up in 3, 2. Like I said, we're going to be pausing a lot in this video, so make sure you actually try these before you see me do it. Again, the answers will be up in 3, 2, 1. If we use the graph, we can use rise over run. My rise, well, it's going down 2, and my run forward 4. So my slope ends up being negative 2 over 4, which simplifies to negative 1/2. If you'd rather use the coordinates, we can take a look at the change in y from 4 to 2. That's going decreasing by 2 or negative 2. And the change in x from 0 to 4, increasing by 4. So my slope, again, change in y is negative 2 over the change in x, which was 4. And simplifying, we obtain negative 1/2, which is the same as if we use the graph. So either way to find slope is perfectly fine. Next, I'd like you to take a look at questions 2 and 3. Pause the video now and try and write an answer to those yourself. The answers will be coming up in 3, 2, 1. In number 2, we know that the farther from 0 a slope is, the steeper it is. So a slope of 2 is greater than a slope of 1/2. And we know the slope of 2, or 2 over 1, is up 2 over 1. So that's a pretty steep slope. Whereas 1/2 is up 1 and over 2, which is a more shallow, less steep slope. So again, the greater the number, or the farther from 0 it is, the steeper it will be. In 3, we know that positive slopes are increasing, right? So positive slope, a number like maybe a slope of plus 2, whereas a slope that's negative is going to be decreasing. For example, a slope of negative 2 would be moving in a downwards direction like that. Next, try looking at questions 4 and 5 on your own. The answers will be coming up in 3, 2, 1. In 4, the slope of a horizontal line is 0. You may also see that as 0 over some number, say 2, but remember, 0 divided by any number is still 0. And the equation of that horizontal line will always be y equals some constant, for example, 2. If I want to graph that, I'll draw a little graph right here, and then y equals 2, I go to 2 on the y-axis right here, and draw that horizontal line. So while the equation is y equals a constant, the slope of a flat horizontal line is always 0. What about number 5 with vertical lines? Well, the slope of a vertical line is undefined. Now again, you may see that as some number over 0. Now remember, we cannot divide by 0. It doesn't make sense to break something into 0 parts. And so we call divided by 0 undefined. The equation of a undefined slope is always x equals some number, let's say 2. And so if you were to graph that, you would have a graph like this. And then for x equals 2, I'd go to 2 on the x-axis. 1, 2 right there. Draw my vertical line. And again, although the equation of that line is x equals 2, the slope of that line, that straight up and down vertical line, is undefined. So make sure you know the difference between the slope of the lines and the equation that generates the line itself. Next, I'd like you to pause the video and try to graph the following 3 graphs in slope-intercept form. Now, it may take you a couple minutes to complete this, but it's important you do this on your own first, otherwise the rest of the video will not make sense to you. Pause the video now and graph the following, 6 lines, 2 lines on each graph. Pause the video now. The answers will be up in 3, 2, 1. And here we have all 6 lines. Now, make sure you're graphing these correctly. If you need to correct something on your paper, just erase it and try again. Some things to watch out for is the negative slopes, right? Make sure that negative 3 over 2, you're going down 3 over 2. Make sure when you graph this slope of 3 right here, it's 3 over 1. So you're going up 3 and over 1. And also make sure you're getting these y equals 2 and x equals negative 1 lines correct. Remember, y equals 2 is that horizontal line, and x equals negative 1 is that vertical line. And it might help you, like I did, to graph these in 2 different colors. So if you didn't do that originally, you can always go back and change it, or perhaps even highlight or go over the lines you've already drawn. Could help you now and in the future.